I can't believe I've had this little beast, the Insta360 Go, for just over a year now. And I've been so busy, I forgot to make a video telling you all about why I think that even 1 year later, I still think this camera should be on your gift list this holiday season. Let me tell you why. It's small, it's quirky, it's still got one really annoying thing about it, but I have grown to love this camera even more over the year. Yes, even more than when I made my 6-month brutally honest review too. So, 1 year later, why do I still recommend this camera at the end of the year that has been 2020? Let me cover a few reasons, and I'll start with the top reason and we can backfill from there. And stay tuned till the end when I'll cover some of the not so great things that you need to watch out for, and they might even be a deal breaker for you. So the best thing about the Go is that you can use it in so many different ways, and there's nothing else quite like it out there. Yes, there is this small camera by Akaso, but it just doesn't have the support like the Go, like the app, like the artificial intelligence wonderfulness built into that too. But anyway, let me get back to the versatility of the Go. With the mount, the magnetic attachment ability, and other accessories, this really is the Go Anywhere camera. Whereas I was in two minds about whether it was interesting enough to use for the long term in my 6 months review, Insta360 have developed a couple of new features, and I've also explored a few more options too. It really is a camera where you can get to grips with it and figure out how you're going to use it for yourself. Let me give you a couple of examples. First, let me talk about linear mode. What does that mean? Well, usually the Insta360 Go has up until recently shot with a very wide point of view. I mean, I guess you could say it's been a key feature of the camera. Just make sure it's pointed in the right direction and it's probably going to capture it, just like you can see here. Well, Insta360 have now given us a second option, a narrower point of view shot called linear. And the good news is, like with many of the Insta360 features, you can just shoot now and you can choose later on how you want to render the video, with that wide point of view as usual, or with a new linear point of view. So you'll see it's not just a recrop, but it does give a look of kind of punching into a different kind of a view, a different kind of a look. Check out my video specifically talking about this in the video description. Now let me talk to you about how you can reframe video footage you've captured with your Go, which I think is a fantastic opportunity, especially for things like motion time lapses. Let me explain, because this is very cool. Now, before you need a gimbal to do something like this, but now with the wide field of view of the Insta360 Go, you can now have a motion time lapse, not just a static time lapse, all in this tiny device, which, when you think about it, it's just a tiny bit mind-blowing what this thing is capable of doing. Check out the description of how I made this effect after you've watched this video, and other reframe effects that you can use for vlogging with the Go. So yes, Insta360 keep adding the odd new feature every now and again, and I keep exploring how to get the best out of this little camera, and I have a whole library of videos showing you how to use your Go. So what else do I still think is great after over a year with the Go? There's been a few new action cameras out there this year, like the GoPro Hero 9, but with 2020 and all that, not so many as usual. But for me, Insta360's special sauce has a number of ingredients that help it remain at the top, and one of the key ones is flow state stabilization. It's great, it's smooth, and probably better than any other small action camera, and it looks great on the Go. The Insta360 Go app is still very good, and the stories feature using the flash cut artificial intelligence implementation really is an excellent place to start. But it can get old pretty quickly with not much choice in the music that's supplied in the app. However, you can get a pretty polished little clip for social media very quickly with no editing, and if that's what you want to use the Go for, well, you're going to be very happy indeed with this little beast of a camera. The charging docking cradle design and implementation is still great. It's not perfect that the Go's battery is so tiny and that it only has 8 GB capacity for storage memory either, but you can see why it has to be so with the size of the thing. So the charging cradle and docking station combo is probably about as good as they can make it. I reliably get a good 2 or 3 charges out of it, which is enough for all day really, even when I was relying on the Go for most of the day because the weather outside made using my 1X impossible that day. So good job Insta360 for the charging solution. Well, on iOS anyway. I can't speak for the Android based experience, unfortunately. Let's talk water. It's not waterproof, but it is water resistant, which for me has been really useful. On my trip to the UK just over a year ago now, it rained for pretty much 80% of the time I was there. So where I would usually be using my 1X, it just wasn't possible. The Insta360 just did the backfilling job I wanted it to, and I could even use it to splice together some of the gaps when the clouds broke and the sun shone through, and I can actually use my 1X too. And for that reason, it's probably the perfect B-roll standby camera for me. Those bigger lenses on the X2 that's around even now are probably going to pick up those rain spots more than my Go. If you're into hyperlapses, then you're gonna love the Go. Stick it on your scooter, on your hat, on your pendant, and you can capture a hyperlapse just like that. The app does all the work for you, and you have a nifty little moving time lapse to post out to social immediately. Job done. Never has a hyperlapse been so easy, from capturing to getting out into the world. And you can easily choose whether you want 16:9 square or Instagram story format with a simple swipe too. And finally, the mic on the Go is frankly amazing. I think it does a great job, probably one of the better mic implementations I've seen, which is all the more impressive for it being on such a small device. It can record a little on the quiet side though, so you might want to give that a nudge up in post-production. All right, let's move to the downsides that still bug me after a year of using this camera. Firstly, and I should say it doesn't bother me so much, but just be realistic about your expectations of video quality. It's theoretically 1080p, but looks more like an upscaled 720p. All video modes on the Go feature a 40 Mbps capture rate, and to my eyes, you can tell. The quality is quick and dirty really. Good enough for social and perhaps B-roll at a pinch, like I say, but not much better than that. I also found that you got quite a lot of jelly-like video effects, even in indoor situations where it wasn't so badly lit at all, so it really is only suited to outdoor or very well lit indoor footage capture. Now, this isn't something I've experienced myself, but a few people who use their Go on their FPV drones have contacted me saying that although theoretically it should record for up to 5 minutes in FPV mode, where the horizon leveling on the Go is switched off, find out more about that in my video here, some people are finding that it cuts out after about 3 minutes. So now we come to the design of the actual camera itself, and I've still got a couple of things that bug me about that. First, you get very little feedback when you're trying to use it. Of course, because of the size of it, there's no live view, there's no way of telling you're recording from different angles either, because the LED is at the front of the camera. So unless you're looking at it or facing it somehow, you just can't tell. And sure, you can look at the screen if you've got it connected to your phone by Bluetooth, but there's only a certain number of scenarios where you're gonna want to do that. Most of the time, you're just guessing. And finally, the button. The button to trigger the camera is just badly implemented. The number of times I thought I was capturing video when all I got was a photo of my fingers or something else I didn't want. I know you can change the way the button presses link to various functions of the camera like hyperlapse and slow motion, but to me there's fundamentally something flawed about how the way a simple video capture is implemented. Quick capture just doesn't work like it should, especially if you've got it mounted on the pendant around your neck or the mount attached to a hat. The chances of feeling any haptic feedback are slim to none. Check out my 40 tips video here. Yes, 40, all for the Go. I hope this has been useful. Why not check out my entire Go library while you're at it? Go well to get it, and laters in it.